I started dancing when I was 2.5. I kind of just found my passion. Out of high school, I did stop dancing for a couple of years. I did go to nursing school. I then started teaching part-time. When I was about 24, I switched from full-time nursing to part-time, and then I bought the studio. I love being able to teach kids, and seeing their passion is what my ultimate goal was, owning a studio. So business before the pandemic was a lot busier. As they slowly start to shut some stuff down and start to give you the warnings, I decided to go all virtual. Just from my nursing background and, knowing how viruses spread, I did not want anyone to get sick from here. We were not able to come back in the studio until about the first week of September. So the actual studio was shut down for almost 6 months. Once the pandemic started, they let a lot of us go. So it was at that point where I was like, my studio is shut. I don't have my nursing income. I need to do something. So I reached out to my old boss. She runs a subacute and long-term care facility, and they offered me a full-time day shift job. I will say the first month and a half, it was very depressing because 5-6 people a day were dying. And holding a phone up to a patient's ear so their family can say goodbye to them, seeing that multiple times a day was stressful, but then it was awesome seeing the patients that did survive COVID and how good they're doing now. There were some days where it was horrible, and then I got to come home and teach an hour ballet class, and I was just so happy after that. It's not just a studio, they are a family to me. With the frustration of dealing with COVID patients at work and then just being stressed out from that, coming home, seeing them, hearing their jokes, their little funny quirks, it was just a good outlet. It was struggling while we were closed. You still have all your utilities that you have to pay. A lot of people thought virtual dance classes weren't worth the money to pay the tuition. So I did spend a lot of my nursing paychecks making sure that the rent was paid for here, able to keep the doors open. You really don't have a choice when you want to keep your business doors open. So it was kind of one of those things where once the savings started to get low for the studio, I had to figure out another way.
Good, and run the jump, up, step, double peg, step, turn.
It's a lot different teaching on video, but you had to learn different ways for the kids to understand what you were doing. A lot of kids would not mirror their Zoom, so it was learning what they were seeing as left and where my left was. It was crazy the way we had to adapt to it, but we did. The best part was being able to come back and see all them in person again. That was the biggest reward out of this whole shutdown.
So before you guys, Shanae, go down and slightly go to right before that.
We're running at 25% capacity now. We do a hybrid schedule, so if they're not in the class 1 week, they're doing Zoom. If we close down again, it's one of those things where how long can we go on doing virtual classes? And, I would hate to close down, but if I did close down because of COVID, I would be okay because it's not, I'm closing because I did something horrible. It's that COVID is killing a ton of businesses. It's bound to happen to someone that we know. But I would definitely be disappointed. In the very beginning, I was very uncertain and I kept second guessing myself. I wish I was harder on myself in the beginning with organizing and stuff, but I was afraid that people weren't gonna like what I was doing, so they were gonna leave. So it would stress me out even more. But I think now that I finally just go with my gut, it's so much better. It's definitely made me a stronger business owner. It's made me go outside of the box, be very creative with stuff. It was a hard year, but it was a year of learning a lot of things about myself and what I want. I was able to go back to my in a facility nursing, which is something I've always wanted to go back to. I just never did it. So it kind of pushed me to do that, and I'm so happy I did. It pushed me to do things differently here, delegate more, which I never did before, and now I'm happy I am. So as crazy as this year was, it in a weird sense, I'm happy that it happened because I learned a lot of things about not only the business but myself and what I want and how I want things run.